Well, welcome to another episode of Scouting for History on a gloomy, chilly day. I'm back at this old house from the 1920s that I was here on my last adventure. Did really well, but I got 3/4 of the way done. The yard is huge, so today I'm back to cover the last little bit of the yard and then to try some different settings and tinker with some new settings here in the backyard and see if I can't squeak out anything else good. So stay tuned, here we go. On the very first signal of the day, a screaming 47, and it's a Merc. Awesome. That's the way to start the day. On to the next. And the second signal of the day, same signal, not far away. Could it be another dun? Nope. It could be a clad dun this time. Alright, on to something better. Well, ringing up at a 41, 42, it's this little copper alloy thing. I know I found things like this before, just not sure what it is. It was a connector to something, but on to something else. Well, a piece of an old pen knife, pocket knife, tiny little thing. Handles must have been wood because they're all rotted away. Awesome. That's cool. On to something else. And a little choppy, but it's Merc number 2. There must be something else in the hole because I was getting a really bad signal. But hey, I'll take it. On to the next. Well, after digging a wheat penny not far away, I thought I had another one, and it's a cool little fighter jet. It's all in one piece. It's in good shape. I'll clean up, see if there's any markings on it. Well, that's cool. I love finding the old kids' toys. Alright, on to the next. No, it sounded better before I opened the plug. More power. Well, I certainly hope that wasn't it. It's a band of some kind. But I think that was it. Big, heavy, thick copper band. Yikes. On to the next. Well, somebody here was very careless with pocket knives. There's a second one, not far from the first. On to the next. And now a lead fishing sinker. I find so many of these in people's yards. On to the next. Well, I'm not sure what it is, but there's the impression of it, and there it is. Maybe it's a clock face of some kind. I'm not sure, but it's enormous. It rang up really low. Yeah, on to the next. Well, I don't think it goes with the bullet I found, but oh, that's been drilled through. Someone probably had that as a necklace. Cool. On to the next. So before you even get the pinpointer out, you just look for clues. See the discoloration of the soil here? That's where something was in the soil and it changed the color of it. And a little quick look, and there it is. Didn't even need the pinpointer for it. It's just a wheat penny, I'm sure. Yep, just a wheat penny. But didn't even need the pinpointer for that one. On to the next. Well, after a couple of quick good finds this morning, things slowed down until now. And it's another Merc. That's 3 Mercs on the day. Let's keep going. Well, now a few feet away I found this, which I believe is the handle to a toy gun. And now over here I find most of a toy. Looks like a 45 automatic toy, of course. But hey, that's cool. Shame it's in such bad shape, but on to the next. And now, the third pocket knife of the day. Awesome. They were very careless with their knives. On to the next. Now on the Legend, there's lots of powerful settings. Really, really cool stuff. But remember, with great power comes great responsibility. No, wait, that's Spider-Man. No, with great power comes limitations. So for every great powerful tool you have, there's a drawback to it. You can adjust the recovery speed. Now the recovery speed is the amount of time it takes, processing time, to process one target, move to the next target, and tell you that it's there. So you can have a really fast processing speed or recovery speed, so targets could be real close to each other and you'll still hear them, but you lose depth. And it's a significant depth. It's about 25% depth lost, going from the standard I use is 5. If you go up to a very low or a very high recovery speed, 8, you lose about 25% of the depth. It's significant. Well, depending on where you are. It might, but that power might be more important at separation than at depth. So it's your call. If you go to a lower recovery speed, you get a corresponding increase in depth, but you have to swing a lot slower and you might not get separation. So if there's a lot of stuff in the ground, iron and trash and things like that, you might not be able to pick out all the individual good signals. Also on the Legend, you have the iron filter. Now the iron filter is a magical unmasking tool, and you still hear the iron, but what it does is if there's iron close to or above a non-ferrous target, it gives priority to the ferrous target, and you hear it a lot better when you lower the iron filter number. So standard is 8, which means there's no iron filter. And you can go down to 0, or I believe you can go down to 0, 1 at least. But again, it all comes at a cost of depth. Now all these depth adjustments are cumulative. So if you go to a very high recovery speed and a very low iron filter, you could seriously impact your depth. I mean, you could be down to about 20% capacity on depth. So if something was 10 inches before you could read it, now maybe 2 inches. It's serious. So you have to pick and choose based on your conditions which setting you're going to use. So iron filter, I don't really use it that often. I'll do a little demonstration here. You'll see what I'm talking about. But the Legend does a good enough job, even without the iron filter, of hearing those targets those ferrous targets. They may not sound what you think they are, but if you dig everything, you won't miss the stuff. Trust me. On to the next. So here on the ground, I've got a wheat penny and a hunk of iron right next to each other, and you can hear it has no trouble picking up the wheat penny if I go that direction, but this direction, so if I go this direction, it's just iron with a little squeak at the end, but this direction, it has no problem picking it up. Now, if I were to put the iron directly on top of the wheat penny, well, that'd be silly, wouldn't it? But let's see what happens. It's still saying there's something there, but it's giving me a terrible signal. 32, 37. But if I go to my iron filter and lower my iron filter, let's say to, well, let's go down to 2 and accept. Oh, did I accept? Yes, it did accept. All right, so here we are. It does a better job of ignoring the iron and finding the penny. Well, I had my hopes up for another silver done, but I got some kind of a odd little token. I'll clean it up. You'll see it right here. Cool. On to the... Well, digging a signal down here, I found a penny, but I also found this tiny little bottle. That's awesome. I'll clean it up, see if I can figure it out. Maybe a perfume bottle. Don't know. Awesome. On to the next. I'll jinx this one with a live bait. Probably a penny, but you never know. It's a nice high ringing tone. And it's a clad dime. Sad clad dime. Well, it's not just a car, it's the world champion. It's not that old, it's all plastic. On to the next. And just what every suburban yard needs, a bullet. I think that one's fairly old. Yeah, I'll clean up and see if I can figure anything out about it. On to the next. Well, that's going to do it for this adventure. Not a very long one, but I haven't detected in 2 weeks, so I'm a little tired. My wife and I went on a little vacation, so now I'm getting back into the swing of things. So, a couple of good finds, but the best find of the day, the neighbor next door came out, and he said I could come back and detect his yard too. So I'll do that. That house is about 10 years older than this one, and still part of that old dairy farm. So, fingers crossed, when I come back, we find something good again. On we go. See you next time.